and welcome to the Direct Selling Success Podcast. I'm Anna Green, and I'm here to share with you tips, tricks, and training on network marketing done right. Thank you for listening. It takes a while these days. Hello, everybody. Fabulous. Welcome, Lisa. I'm so excited to have you here.
Hello.
Hello. We've known each other quite a while now, haven't we? On and off.
Yes, on and off.
Yeah.
On and off. Yes.
Random.
We met in person at the big festoon, didn't we, last March?
Yes, but I think years ago I've met you before, like somewhere random, a business networking meeting here, there, and everywhere in somewhere East Anglia, Midlands sort of thing. Yeah, we've passed each other. Yeah, so Lisa is here today to talk to us about honing your personal style, colour and clothes, and how important this can be in your business. So, Lisa, introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay, so as Anna said, I'm Lisa Newport. I call myself the Dopamine Dressing Doyenne because what I do is actually about dressing for joy and making yourself feel good. Because when you feel good in what you're wearing, you stand taller, you've got an air of confidence about you, and everything that day goes better. So I help people do that on purpose. A lot of people have got an outfit or they've had an outfit where they've like put something on and they're like, oh yeah, and like you fancy yourself in it and you're like, oh yeah. And it's kind of, but it can be like accidental.
Yeah.
It's just something that happens, and then it's like, and then you can be standing in front of your wardrobe and it's like absolutely rammed full and you're like, I've got nothing to wear. But you have got things to wear, but you feel like you've got nothing to wear. So I help people do that sort of feeling good on purpose, and that's what I do in a nutshell.
So how does this relate to business, direct selling? I can see the connection, but I bet a lot of our audience can't see the connection between what you put on in the morning and your business.
Yeah. So very basic, one of the talks that I do is called Are Your Pants Affecting Your Profit? So, and that is about, so if you think about metaphorical pants, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about like the type of, so as a business person, sometimes you have to put on your big girl pants.
Yeah.
And push yourself out of your comfort zone. Sometimes you have to put your smarty pants on and like be like sort of fancy pants and be like dressed up, going to a gala dinner and receiving your awards on the stage and all that kind of thing. So there's lots of different metaphorical pants, yeah. But if you think about, if you are, everything that you wear says something about you. You're sending out messages with how you look. So none of us like to think that we're judging people, but we subconsciously we are making decisions, and it goes right back to sort of prehistoric days, and when there had to be like a snap decision made by what you see. You made a snap decision about whether you were safe or not. So going right back to that kind of thing, we are making judgments, and every single thing, every little detail about how we look is saying something about us. So just as a really simple, as an example, I'll just use my pen pot here. So if I'm using a fountain pen, or I'm using a big pen, somebody who always writes in a fountain pen, that says something about somebody who always writes with a fountain pen as well. Yeah. So it's about communicating something about you with how you look and how you. So there's a lot of stuff around colour combinations. There's certain colour combinations that say authority and keep people at a distance. There's other colour combinations that make you appear more warm and approachable and friendly. So there's all sorts of stuff tied up in how you look, and the messages that's conveying, and that does relate to business from a client perspective, from a customer perspective. It also about how you feel and how you perform. So there's actual scientific experiments being done about how people felt. There was one famous one, I can't remember, it was in America, I think it was 2012 or something like that, where they gave people a white coat and they told them that it was, there were students, I think, all doing some task, and they told them that it was a doctor's coat. and they told another group that it was a painter and decorator's coat. Yeah. And the ones who put the doctor's coat on, overall, in every experiment they did, performed better because they paid more attention to detail and felt more had more authority about them because they thought they were wearing a doctor's coat rather than a painter and decorator's coat. So there's a lot up there as well as what we see and what we think about. But if you're just putting, back to pants, if you're putting, pants on that have seen better days, and do you know what I mean? What you're saying in the morning, you're saying to yourself in the morning, I'm not worth it. It doesn't matter. Nobody sees it. It's all right. But how does that make you feel? The difference it makes you feel when you're putting something really nice on and making yourself feel nice. It's a whole sort of psychological thing. So
yeah, totally. And I remember back in the day when I was going out and meeting new team members or going out and doing parties at people's houses. I always used to dress for the event.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, I would do it. So I'd never step outside wearing, my scabby joggers or a pair of jeans that I didn't feel were smart enough. I would go out and try and look the part. And when I was going to the home parties, I'd think about who was there and think, well, how would they expect me to dress? How am I going to build that rapport with them?
Yeah.
And not blend in.
Yeah. So it's
become part of that crowd.
As a general guide, if you're ever speaking or presenting or doing anything like the home parties and stuff like that, as a general guide, you want to know, if you know your audience, how your audience might be, then it's about being perhaps just a little bit more elevated than them. Yeah. So that you've got authority and credibility. So there's something about being slightly more elevated, but you don't want to be too far. You don't want to be turning up in a business suit if everybody's sitting at home in the joggers, because that'll create too much dissonance. There's too much distance between you and them. And that's what you want to do, is create that rapport, don't you? So it's about being approachable and them feeling like you have credibility and authority in what you're talking about, but also on the other hand, you're not putting yourself so far above them that they feel, that you're looking down on them, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that you are relatable and aspirational, I suppose.
Yeah,
in a way as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that whole I know from back in the day when I did party plan, we're going back like 20 odd years, and it was kind of like you had to think about what you were, and because some people wanted you to take the shoes off.
Yeah,
shoes off in the house, so it's like you don't want to wear socks with holes in if you haven't got anything, making sure your nail varnish on your toes isn't chipped. Those kind of things, because all that says something about you. And then it might be that they you might end up crawling around on the floor because they haven't got a chair for you, or so it's thinking about what you're actually wearing and whether it does sort of make you feel comfortable and confident is the key. So my made up word is confidence, and that came about years ago talking to a client, and I got my words muddled up, but people sort of get it. So it's about you feeling comfortable and confident in whatever situation or environment that you're going into. So for example, you might be a really casual person who likes jeans and a t-shirt and doesn't wear makeup or whatever. Comfortable and confident, that gives you comfort and confidence in certain situations, but in other situations you might feel underdressed.
So that is me in a tee. I never, and I say never, wear makeup with a pinch of salt, because actually when I'm doing a masterclass that is going to be recorded and I'm in front of people who don't know me and I don't feel like I shouldn't wear makeup. I slap a little bit on. And I might straighten my hair a little bit more than I would normally.
And it's because that then gives you that edge of makes you feel more comfortable and confident in that situation. Whereas once people know you, it doesn't matter. But it's about that first impression and creating that. They used to think that there was everybody always says, 7 seconds to make a first impression. It's so much less than that. I did some research and I found out that 2006 was the latest research I could find, and it was in a scientific magazine, and it was 1/10 of a second. So people are making a judgment whether, on what, for whatever reason, it's subconscious, but they're making, so you've got that long. So if you think about these days, we're online, that's our profile pictures, everything that we're posting about ourselves is telling a story. So it's about you being able to curate that story, you be able to sort of control the story that is being told, because you can do that by how you present yourself. And that's essentially what I help people do. So it's presenting like that best version of you so that you feel. So with your, if you're saying you're like the jeans and t-shirt person who doesn't like getting dressed up, so like, going to a fancy dinner, it's like, or going somewhere where you need to feel smart, you need to look smarter than you would normally because you'd feel underdressed. Then it's kind of, okay, so what would you wear? What version can we create that is still going to not make you, so you're not fiddling and, tugging at things, so you still feel comfortable. So it might be like you still wear jeans style trousers, but they're in an elevated fabric. So instead of being pale denim, dark denim is upper level, and then it might be velvet is even upper level more than that, or do you know what I mean? Or coloured. So it's about still having jeans, but I'm being, what that posher version of jeans, so that you still feel comfortable instead of putting you in something completely, like a frock and high heels and really out of place.
And talking about that, it is so important to stick to being you.
Absolutely.
And especially online, when you're trying to be somebody else in what you're posting and how you're showing up and what you're wearing, if it doesn't feel right, everybody else can see a disconnect. So they don't resonate with you the same.
That's it. And then there's something fake about you. And so there's no trust. There was one lady, and I've wrote about this in my book, and she was lovely, really natural, wore very little makeup, had sort of wavy, hair was probably a little bit longer than yours, but wavy curls, and she was a very casual dresser, and she'd written a book, and she was having some photographs taken for this book, and they'd got a hair and makeup artist, and they primped and preened her so much, and it was a beautiful photograph on this book. Didn't look anything like her. You would not you would have put it side by side and you would not have known that it was her. So it's kind of like that was a complete waste of money, because she was giving off a totally different aura to how she normally looks. And her book was all about, it was about connecting with parents and doing this and doing that. And she looked like it was almost like a corporate photograph, a businesswoman. It just didn't, there was a real disconnect with that. It was really misaligned. And so then it's kind of like, well, which is the real one?
Yeah. There's been so often I've seen people's Facebook profile pictures and then met them online like this and gone, that's not the same person. No way is that the same person.
It's like with all the filters and and even on I've got a couple of people who have, and they're so used to having the Zoom filter ramped up that when they see themselves, a picture of themselves without any filter, they're like, oh, oh, I've got wrinkles. They're just like, well, yeah, of course you've got wrinkles.
Yeah, it's called getting old, isn't it?
I go the other way. I've got a 10 times magnifying mirror, so I'm well aware of what my wrinkles. See it all in all its glory.
Oh, absolutely.
But it is absolutely about it's about still being you, but the best version of you, and so that you look and feel good. It is about how you feel. At the end of the day, it's about how you feel. And if you feel good in what you're wearing, you have a different aura about you. You have a different air of confidence. And when you're feeling more confident, people are more confident in you.
Yeah. And the old phrase, dress for success, always rings true, I think. In that way, rather than that dressing to impress.
Yeah. It's what I always say is dress to impress yourself.
Yeah.
Because dress for success to me conjures up, like power suits, power dresses.
Oh, does it?
That, yeah. And I always think of, like, when you watch The Apprentice,
Yeah.
And they're all like the lads have all got the suits on, and the girls are now in the heels and the shift dresses, and it's like, oh, they've all been, the dressing for success, and it's kind of that they all look the same. Um,
Yeah.
so to me, I'm very much about helping people express their identity. That's my real passion, really
Yeah.
helping people really embrace their uniqueness and express their identity and really, show up and not be a carbon copy
Well,
of
isn't
other
that funny
people.
that a phrase like that means something completely different to
Yeah,
somebody else? So for me,
absolutely.
dressed for success means not staying in my jammies, or
Yeah,
if I'm on a Zoom, I haven't got my jockey bottoms on underneath this. I might,
yeah.
in the middle of winter have a pair of warm slippers on, but I
I've got
always have to
mine on
take them
now.
off if I'm trying to impress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about mindset, isn't it? And
Yes, totally.
it's we were just talking before we got on the call. There's the official term for it is enclosed cognition. And it is about that white coat thing, the doctor, the
Yeah.
experiment, all of that. It's about psychology, and it's
Yeah.
about how you feel in what you're wearing, and you're going to feel more, if you feel more comfortable in certain clothes, and that makes you then perform better and present yourself actually, to other people better, then that's going to work better for you in your business, isn't it? And help you sell or recruit or whatever it is
Yeah.
that you're doing. But it's a sad. We don't like to think that we're judging, but we do.
We do, and we have to as a race, because
Mm.
otherwise we wouldn't, like you said before, be safe.
It is about safety. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think so often we feel like we shouldn't be judging, but there's a part of us that really should. But I also at the same time think that, never judge a book by its cover, and always give that little second chance and that extra time.
But that's it, and and this is where I'm conflicted in what I do
Yeah.
because of the whole. It is very much, and this is why when you said to me, "What shall I call you?" when we were putting the thing on, it's like I don't identify with the terminology that people would necessarily use for what I do. So,
Yeah.
image consultant, stylist, anything like that, I don't identify with that because I don't feel that my role is kind of, I hate shopping. I'm not interested in fashion. I have no idea who wore what at the Met Gala, or, I never look at, the pages. And there's a whole sort of, I suppose, people assume that you're going to be tottering about in high heels and you're slim and tall and to do that kind of job, and it's like, no, I'm 5'3", I can't walk in heels. It's like, and I'm a size 22, so it's like I don't fit the
Yeah.
the sort of the norms, and I don't identify with those terms because the people who I work with are sort of normal, in inverted commas, ordinary people who just
Yeah.
want to, those people who stand in front of the wardrobes and they're like, oh, I've got nothing to wear, and and get stressed about getting dressed, got something coming up, and they get stressed. And that's the sort of person who I work with because I used to be that person. I've been that person years ago. And I'm kind of like, I wish there was somebody like me who I felt like I could have talked to then. And that's why I wrote my
Yeah.
book, and my book is for people who, it's the book that I wish I'd have had 20 years ago when I was sort of crying in front of my wardrobe going, I've got nothing to wear. So, and
Yeah.
that's me with a fashion and textiles background and been a designer and a makeup artist and all of the other things I've done. I was still that person,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. And I think everybody goes through stages like that when they lose the confidence in how they look, or body changes shape, or hormones kick in,
yeah, yeah, yes, tick, tick,
whatever it might
tick,
be.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it, and a lot of people who I work with tend to be mostly women. But yeah, like you say, hormonal changes, they have children or the menopause, or
Yeah.
or things like divorce or
Yeah.
workplace being made redundant, you lose your confidence. There's lots of different things that can
Yeah.
affect how you feel about yourself. So it's like basically I help people get the mojo back, really.
Yeah.
What
So
used to
is there
be.
a time that you can share in your life that this has had a massive impact on what you've been able to do?
Well, if you so I had my I call them the treble F days when I was fat, fed up, and frumpy. I felt fat, fed. I put a lot of weight on when I was pregnant with my son, and he's 25 next birthday, and I've still carrying the weight. But I went officially plus size, and I've remained so. And I got to a point where I was that person, I kept all my old stuff, and it was all there, like hanging in the wardrobe. And every time you open the wardrobe doors, it was like beating me. It was like a stick to beat myself up with, hey, fatty, you can't fit in these clothes anymore. So rather than being inspiration and thinking, oh, I'm gonna get back into them, it was making me feel really bad about myself. And I ended up just wearing that really just like trying to hide really black baggy shapeless things, and sort of and over that time it sort of I ended up quite depressed and in a real rut really with how I was feeling about myself. And I was like, if only I could lose some weight, everything would be all right. And then I gave myself a talking to, and I think, I just thought, you know what, instead of doing all this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of all these clothes that don't fit me anymore, and I'm going to actually just accept that this is my size for now, and I need to buy clothes that I like, that I enjoy wearing in bigger sizes, and that make me feel good. So I kind of did it myself. Um, and that made a real difference to then how I felt about myself. So then, because I felt better about myself, so it has this whole knock-on effect. And in terms of work, setting up my business, it was I'd had something horrible happen to me, and with work, I was working in quite a toxic environment. I found out my husband was having an affair, and all these things all happened at once, and I was kind of like rock bottom. And it was kind of like, well, what can I do? And I thought, well, I've got, my background is in textiles and fashion design. I used to work as a designer. I trained as a makeup artist. I'd done, I did party plan, did multi-level marketing for 8 years, and was, quite high up in the company that I worked for. I'm going to bring all that together and do that as a business. And that will help those women who felt like me, help women like that to then feel better about themselves. And I used my multi-level marketing networking experience to create my business. So that's, it's sort of like brought everything together. Because I thought, well, I started off just doing one party, and then I
Where we all
invited
start.
that same tech. You do one party and you invite 10 people and then get them. So it was kind of like, and that's how I actually grew my business.
Yeah.
To what it is, to what it is today, and using my teaching experience and all the things that I've done before to create this business that I now run. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it just goes to show that we can all be in a position, whatever that position might be right now, and you can change it around.
Absolutely, it's whether you let things, whether you decide whether you become bitter or better, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's like,
it is.
do I let this situation make me into a victim or a victor? How do I go about this? And I've always been quite a resilient person, and think, right, okay, what can I do rather than what can't I do? And I'm not
Yeah.
going to let this sort of get me down. This is going to be I'm going to do it for me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, clothes can massively make that happen.
Absolutely, and I decided earlier this year that I'm going to wear more sequins.
Oh,
So, so I don't know if you remember, but one of the days when we were at the big Festini match, I had like full on sequin. Well,
you did.
we had full on, well, I had sequins both days actually. That
Sequins and feather boas.
feather boas, and it's kind of like, yeah, I'm going to wear more sequins because I love them and they make me feel good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've bought 3 sequin jackets this year. I went out for lunch with one with my husband. Nowhere, just into town. We went to a restaurant when it was his birthday, and I thought, I'm wearing it because I love it. So
Good for
it's
you.
just
Yeah.
kind of, and I think it's that because because I love it, I don't care what anybody else thinks. So if anybody was looking at me thinking, "Does she think she is wearing sequins on a Tuesday afternoon?" Water off a duck's back to me. I'm not bothered.
Who cares?
Who cares? Who cares? I love it. Whereas if I'd have felt self-conscious, that would have been completely. So this is what I mean about getting the balance
Yeah,
and it being comfortable and confident in the situation or environment that you're going into.
yeah,
In a
totally.
sleeping jacket might make me feel really like, "Ooh, this is not the right place." And if that, then that makes you shrink. Whereas, it's about finding what's right for you.
Yeah,
Absolutely, what you
totally.
working
And I can so
for.
relate to that because I'm all into my vintage stuff at the moment. And I've got the most gorgeous, like 70s, 60s, 70s, floaty, long sleeved, long dress thing. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And I wore it to a friend's wedding
Mm,
this time last year. And oh, it might be even been the year before, good
yeah,
grief. And I thought, can I wear this to that? Because I'm going to look so out of place because all these people will be wearing usual wedding type evening wear or whatever. I thought, I sod it, I'm going to put it on. And I put it on, I felt amazing all night. And people were not, they didn't notice me, but oh, nice dress, that sort of thing. But I didn't stand out and
yeah,
it felt really nice. And actually, I'd go and do that again
yeah,
and absolutely love wearing it
yeah.
because it's me.
That's it. And that's the key thing. It's working out what is right for you.
Yeah,
One of the biggest things that I work with on people is the style personality. And essentially when you understand, so it's like an archetype thing. There are 6 archetypes. I've got a free quiz actually, if any of your viewers
we'll put it below.
want to have a go at it. But it's kind of when you understand what your style archetype is, it makes sense of all the things that you've got in your wardrobe that you're probably not wearing. If they fit you, it's kind of like, when you see things on other
Yeah,
people. I remember it was in my party plan days actually. There was one lady who was in our team and she always looked so elegant and lovely. And I was always like, oh, she always looks great. So I sort of I thought, oh, I'm gonna buy that blouse because it's a bit like she'd wear. I never wore it because every time I put it on, I was like, I really like it, but it just doesn't feel right. And that's the thing. So and it was what I know now is because she had a very much what was in the romantic style personality category, and I'm a dramatic. And there was nothing dramatic about this blouse. It was more romantic, and it just didn't fit with me, and I didn't understand that at the time. So it's kind of like when a lot of the time people, a lot of time it's like jewelry. People buy you jewelry, and
yeah,
then you like it. You're like, oh, I can't get rid of it, but I never wear it because it was expensive and it goes in a drawer.
yeah,
And quite often that's because it's not your style personality.
yeah, yeah.
A friend of mine bought, I don't know if you can see these tiny little, I've got some tiny little stud earrings.
Well, I can see them, but people on a
Yeah,
podcast won't be able
they
to.
might not. Yeah. So I've got these tiny little, tiny little diamond earrings, and a friend bought them me, and they were expensive. Diamond earrings and a little tiny diamond necklace that matched them, which was totally her style.
Yeah,
Not, well, I've got great big massive beads on, that's more my style. So it's kind of like, but I wouldn't get rid of them because I think, she'd spent a lot of money on them
yeah,
and blah, blah,
yeah,
blah. But it's about understanding your style personality. So that's one of the things, my framework that I work with. Color is another, knowing what colors suit you and what colors actually make your skin glow and your eyes look brighter. That's a good thing to understand as well. And then also that psychology of color that I was talking about earlier, because
yeah, yeah,
colors you're more approachable and some you're a bit more like back off. And then understanding shapes of things that suit you as well, that make you feel better about yourself. I don't go in for all this, oh, you're an apple shape, you're a pear shape, so you should wear this, you should wear that. It's about what's right for you and what makes you feel comfortable. And then bringing all that together into your lifestyle. So, like we were laughing at, like you see these makeover programs with not so much Gok these days, but he used to do, and like 10 years younger and whatever. And they do these makeovers, and you can see these people who've had the makeovers looking completely different to how they walked in, and like, red carpet ready. But then what happens happens to them a few days later when they've not had a hairstylist doing the hair and they've not had a makeup artist, and they're not wearing high heels because they've got the school run to do. It's about you learning what's right for you and what fits into your lifestyle and what your needs are, because there's no point having a makeover and then it not being sustainable, so I don't go into that, and I never ever, you'll never see any before and after pictures of my clients, because to me that's like parading. That's like me showing, like, look at this, look how they looked before, ta-da, look how brilliant they look now because they've worked with me. It's not about me, it's about them.
Yeah.
So,
and this is a big thing with network marketing. We've got to be repeatable. We've got to be relatable, that whatever we're doing and however we're showing up online, somebody else has to think, well, I can do that as well.
Absolutely.
Which is why when I see these perfect reels with the perfect hair and the perfect makeup and the perfect backdrop and the perfect editing and everything else, I just cringe, because I think, well, if you're trying to attract the normal person and you're perfect in every way, they're never gonna
not going to be able to
join.
believe that. Not going to be able to believe that they can do that.
No,
that's it. That's the thing.
No.
That's the thing. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I think I think we're on the same page with that. That whole Instagram,
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. Don't be Instagram in this industry.
No, I'm warts and all. I'm warts and all me. You see me looking nice, and you'll see me taking my makeup off, and you'll see me. The reel I posted last night. I've got one of those little micro, a little clip-on micro testing.
Oh yeah.
And my husband, I said, go round the corner with my phone. Let me carry on talking and see if you can still hear me. And he's he's going like this into my camera around the corner. Didn't know I could see it, and it was all recording. So I've posted it on Instagram.
Good for you. Anyway, one last tip from you, Lisa, for anybody out there that's watching in the direct sales and network marketing industry, on something that they can do right now to enhance their.
What can they do right now? I think is have a wardrobe clear out. That's what I would say. Have a look for your things that are not serving you. Chuck them out, get rid of them, sell them on Vinted or whatever you need to do. But if you're not wearing them, they're not serving you. Think about why you're not wearing them, and then you're not making the same mistakes again. And another tip is, when you've had that wardrobe clear out, put all your hangers back the opposite way. So they're all facing the same way, but put them also, they're facing you. And then when you've worn something, hang it back in the wardrobe so the other way. And then you can see after 6 months what you've not worn, and that helps you with the clear out. But it's about that whole, just think about why you're buying what you're buying. How does it make you feel? And don't just keep buying more stuff because you're looking for that answer. I am doing a challenge in September. Shop your wardrobe challenge in September. So if anybody wants to follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see that and be able to sign up for that Shop Your Wardrobe challenge. That should help you with all of these things I've been talking about for free.
Yeah, we'll make sure we've got the links below so people can go and click on them and come and find you. But for now, can you tell everybody where they can find you? What are your
LisaNewport.com. Easy. LisaNewport.com. You go on my website, all my social links are on the top left-hand side. So I'm Lisa Newport _FAB on Instagram, Lisa Newport on Facebook. So it's dead easy.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on, Lisa. It's been fab speaking to you.
Thank you.
And we shall see you all soon.
Bye.